First of all, let's talk about the tech and IT sector because there's been some news about the suicide of a family from Bengaluru. He was a software consultant, just 30 years old, and he was originally from Allahabad. So we do not know the exact reason for the suicide, but in general, what I have been saying all along, we will discuss that in detail, especially concerning the tech and IT sectors. For the last 50 years, all the payments being made, right, it was all entirely because of the endless printing of the dollar. There was not really a need for that many jobs. It was not like there was any special intellect or brain power being used to justify getting those kind of packages. I mean, especially when you compare it to the payments in all the other sectors. So the only reason for this was that you were very close to the endless dollar printing machine. That is why that type of payment was being made. That was not your decision to make. In a way, you could almost call it your karma that you just happened to be so near to the printing machine. The decision was of the script writers who were the global market forces because they really only have two sectors, defense and IT. And as you know, the internet itself came from their defense department. So since the 1971 fiat dollar, all payments made to the tech sector, all of that is totally fake. It is completely fake. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason for why such high payments were being made, except that it is coming from the printing machine. Now, the problem is that all of our analysts have fooled you. They did not just fool the people in the tech sector. In fact, an entire education industry was pushed in that direction, that the best pay is only from IT, that the maximum payment will come from here. So someone is studying mechanical engineering, yet he is engaged in the task of a coolie. Why? Because he is getting that kind of payment. So whatever your merit is going in that direction. Your core sectors got destroyed. I mean, there has been no innovation in farming and no innovation in manufacturing. There's been no innovation in logistics. You must have heard some government representatives saying that we do not even have our own ships. The merchant navy is facing problems. We are forced to use the logistics of other countries. In farming, as you know, zero profitability, no tech innovation for 50 years. So by taking all your merit there and making you do a coolie's work, there was no chance for real innovation in tech. Nothing could be done in pure IT, nor could anything happen that should have been done in the core sectors. So this is exactly what happens when you try to fit yourself into someone else's global plan. You must have heard it from Jaishankar ji in his speeches last year, where he asked why we should fit into others' plans. So you really have to understand that they have completely ruined their own purchasing power. In this whole thing, there is no one else's role to play at all, simply because of the way they went about printing money. In the last 8 years, during Donald Trump's term, there was an $8 trillion debt and 8.4 or something. And then in President Biden's 4-year term, an 8.2 trillion national debt was added. So they have completely ruined their own currency, the dollar. They themselves were the ones de-dollarizing. No one else has anything to do with this at all. So now when they cannot afford it and you are demanding payment, it is totally legitimate. I mean, it is not a legitimate demand. They simply do not have the money and you are saying, give me my payment. So that is just not going to happen, no matter what anyone tries to convince you regarding H-1B. Whether it is unskilled, skilled, the immigrant problem, that they are creating competition, all of these things, these are all just minor factors really, but they themselves have completely ruined their own currency. Now they simply cannot afford to pay you. So you have to understand that these were fake payments all along. Okay? But the real problem is that all of our so-called experts fooled all of you into believing this was a brain drain. Now, a normal Bharati who follows dharma, and by dharma, I mean we are talking about individuals seeking, about questioning something that is not based on commandments. So a simple, normal Bharatiya child, right from the moment of birth, is already inherently smarter in comparison to anyone else. Okay, because Dharma has given them the freedom to question, whereas their system is based on commandments, and communism has nothing at all. You just have to follow whatever is said from the top. So the others will automatically be of lesser intellect. By default, they are going to be of lesser intellect. But the narrative of a brain drain that you all created, you have to see the damage that it has caused. Because you have killed the aspirations of this entire country by repeatedly running this fake analysis over and over that the West is superior. Okay. So it has to be explained that NRIs who went to the West made money or grew because one, they were close to the printing machine, and two, dharma is what taught them that life has a life cycle based format. Meaning you will take care of your parents and you are also the one who has to save for the next generation. So this was a dharma drain. They did not learn this in any Abrahamic circle. This whole concept of why one should have a savings oriented lifestyle. It was dharma that taught them this, nor did they learn this in any Abrahamic Western university classroom. If that were the case, why would the lifestyle of all other citizens be like that? Right? Their education is barely complete. By graduation, they have had 2 or 3 sets of parents. The divorce rates are that high. Savings are out of the question. So you see, this was a dharma drain. It was not a brain drain. For you to call it a brain drain, let me explain this to you once again. That you simply cannot attract the top 1% of Bharat with money. It is just not possible to do so. I am talking about the top 1% of Bharat specifically, not from other countries. So in that sense, a brain drain has not happened. Okay, it is about to happen now. They are going to try new regulations that President Trump will bring in after he comes to power. Then they will attempt the real brain drain. They are going to be doing this for your top 1%. But like I am saying, they also do not realize that the top 1% of Bharat's great minds will not be attracted simply by money. If you only talk to them about money, they are not going to come to your country. Okay, they are living a completely different life. The world of the top 1% is totally different. Okay, so no matter how much money you show them, they will not go. All right. So all the students in the tech and IT sector, especially those who have taken admission in computer science and similar fields, you all really need to understand this, that this entire tech sector was actually born out of the fiat dollar currency printing that began in 1971. Okay, so now what should those of us in the IT or tech sector do moving forward? There are already some companies that have started to diversify their client base to Russia, West Asia, and Japan. Okay, the ancient Indochina region, the countries of Southeast Asia, you have to sustain yourselves by diversifying your clients over there. So, personally, these are my suggestions. You must focus on savings, limit your expenses, avoid taking loans, and refrain from buying costly assets, especially at least for these 3 years. Just hold off for these 3 years if you plan on doing anything like that. Okay. Second, when a bad time comes for one sector, you should understand it means a good time is coming for other sectors. I mean, manufacturing, farming, food processing, logistics, defense, and space. So, with your IT or tech skills, can you possibly innovate in these sectors, do some real actual research, and build something valuable for Bharat? You will also have a first mover advantage if you take your skill set in that direction. Okay. Third, because from what I observe in human body language, I have seen that people from the tech and IT sector, especially when because their payment was not at the American level, but it was much higher than the payment of other sectors at the Bharatiya level. So because of this type of payment, there in some sections, I have found that their behavior towards their own family and relatives has been very bad because they were flying high, thinking I am so much more intelligent. They were flying high, and so they misbehaved with everyone. So what tends to happen is that when you have already misbehaved with your parents and your relatives, and you are the one who has personally cut off all contact, and you have left your village or your place of origin and then shifted to Bangalore, Pune, Chennai, or Hyderabad, And now the gap has grown so wide that if a crisis comes, you cannot even tell your parents. You have misbehaved to that great an extent. So, my only point is that it is never too late to apologize. You should definitely attempt that. You should try. And secondly, whenever it starts to feel like when bad times are going on, focus on your faith and pay attention to your physical health. Oh, someone's comment came in. Ankit ji, start exercising. You've gotten very fat. Yeah, well, I am the one giving out gyan right now. So let me eat my samosas. When I am the one in a crisis, then I will. No, no, I have to start exercising. That is absolutely right. So, faith and physical health. You should focus on this when a time like this is going on, like you have been laid off or you feel there is some financial struggle. All right. Secondly, the reason I'm trying to explain this is because it is a suicide case that I made a quote tweet about. In the Bharatiya Sanatan Dharma, if you want to leave the world, there is a very good option available, which is Diksha. It means you have renounced all your worldly attachments. If you are feeling so much pressure that you cannot afford to live, then suicide is not the right way to go. This is the West's template. It is not our template, the suicide one. Okay. So here, as this family's case has been mentioned, I do not know what the actual reason would be, but I am assuming that cases like this can come up in the next 3 years. And these kind of cases will come up in the entire West as well. You should understand that when the top three US tech companies, they are representing 25% of the stock market's valuation at this very moment. So suicides are bound to happen. When this crisis hits the West, these suicides are going to happen. All right. So we do not have to walk on their template. Adopt a frugal lifestyle, do some savings, and you can easily get through it in 2 to 3 years. At least I'm not saying you will get that same payment. That kind of payment will not be available. It looks difficult, but at least you will be able to stay afloat after 2 or 3 years. So what I'm trying to say is that uh, in the Bharatiya Dharma, there is a path of Diksha. It is not that you have to commit suicide. You should not have these kinds of thoughts because just think about it. What about you? You will just be gone. But think about how much emotion, money, and all their effort your parents have spent on you, and you just get away by committing suicide. Have you ever thought about the pain that parents go through because of one wrong move you make? So you have no such right to do something like this, okay? So there is the path of Diksha. If it feels like nothing at all can be done, then that is a good path, right? And this is the land where even the richest of people, they bow down in front of those people who have no assets. I am talking about our sadhus and maharajas. I am talking about the monks, okay? So on this earth, the one who gives up everything has the highest value. So it is a very good path. Otherwise, what will happen? You will adopt the Western template that you are seeing. Just look at this. Read what the situation is. In Canada, 1 in 20 deaths that are happening are from assisted dying. This means they are demanding to die on their own. So you should think about how much that society has degraded. Just think about it. We do not have to go there. That is not our target to become that kind of a crazy society. Okay? So take care and as much as possible, always remain attached to your place of origin and stay connected to where you came from because money will come and go and it will come back again, right? It is not that important that you have to take such extreme steps.